Hello. Today we're considering Dorothy Parker's short and witty poem, One Perfect Rose, written in 1923. Before we start, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, it would be greatly appreciated if you would. Thank you so much. I have the poem here, so let's start. A single flower he sent me since we met, all tenderly his messenger he chose. Deep-hearted, pure, with scented dew still wet, one perfect rose. I knew the language of the floweret, my fragile leaves, it said, his heart enclose. Love long has taken for his amulet one perfect rose. Why is it no one ever sent me yet one perfect limousine, do you suppose? Ah, no, it's always just my luck to get one perfect rose. Really witty and funny, while at the same time making some serious points about courtship, love and romance. Plenty to unpack here, so let's start. The title intrigues us, yet fools us into believing we are about to read a typical love poem, which it certainly is not. In the first two stanzas, the speaker recalls her courtship with a lover or potential lover. Written in the first person voice makes the story intimate and confiding. She shares her story with the reader. Using iambic pentameter, which mimics the rhythm of natural speech, adds to the confiding tone. In stanza 1, she recalls he sent her a single rose. A single flower he sent me since we met, all tenderly his messenger he chose. Deep-hearted, pure, with scented dew still wet, one perfect rose. The quatrain of stanza 1 would lead us to believe we are reading a typical love poem. However, there are surprises in store because it parodies cliched love poems. It uses cliches to mock the cliches generally found in traditional love poems. Parker employs archaic words we associate with traditional love poems to satirise old notions of love. She also reflects new female attitudes to love in Roaring Twenties America. In this poem, the rose no longer symbolises love, but represents the ultimate love cliché. In stanza 1, the speaker is apparently pleased to have received a single rose that her suitor sent. It is perfect. But in the following stanzas, we find the speaker is tired of roses and would rather receive something more glamorous, substantial and expensive from a potential lover, besides this cliched symbol of courtship and love. In the first line of stanza 2, I knew the language of the floweret, and the first line of stanza 3, why is it no one ever sent me yet, imply the speaker has received similar flowery tokens before, and while beautiful, she considers them empty gestures. The rose is perfect in its look, but it is also the perfect cliché for love and devotion. Personification lends substance to the rose. It is the lover's messenger sent to convey his love and represent the suitor. She describes the rose and, by association, her lover as deep-hearted and pure. Fittingly, she parodies the flowery language of traditional love poems, scented dew still wet, which is a delicate description, yet cliched. The first indication that Parker is being playful and ironic is when she describes the rose as wet and, by implication, her suitor as wet. Wet is how we describe a naive or immature person. For example, the phrase being wet behind the ears. Perhaps the speaker suggests that when it comes to matter of love and meeting a woman's real needs, her suitor is hopelessly naive. Personifying the rose continues in stanza 2. This time, it speaks as if it is the lover. I knew the language of the floweret. My fragile leaves, it said, his heart enclose. Love long has taken for his amulet one perfect rose. Fitting for this poem, amulet plays on the Latin word amo, meaning love, and the root for amorous. Love is personified as a he, which suggests that courtship is very much driven by men, and mostly from their perspective, while women wait passively to receive tokens of men's affection. The poem is likely an attempt to remedy this perception and presumption that men know best what women want. I knew the language of the floweret suggests she has been here before and received on several occasions roses as symbols of devotion. It implies she is desensitized to such gifts, receiving many such tokens over the years, and is tired of budding relationships that ultimately end in nothing. Fragile suggests that roses are often given at an early stage in a relationship, the delicate stage where the lover's advances may be accepted or rejected. Fragile also suggests such devotion may end as quickly as a rose can die. A limousine, by contrast, is substantial and useful, transporting the speaker around town in luxury and style, bestowing status, and it can be monetized, sold for money, once the affair ends or love dies. Why is it no one ever sent me yet one perfect limousine, do you suppose? Ah, no, it's always just my luck to get one perfect rose. By the third stanza, we realise that Parker has deliberately been writing in a mocking, high-flown poetic voice throughout the poem. By stanza 3, she ditches the purple flowery language and asks plainly why no one has ever seen fit to send her one perfect limousine as a love token. She asks herself, or perhaps the reader, a rhetorical question. Why is it no one ever sent me yet one perfect limousine, do you suppose? Although the question requires no answer, the issue lodges firmly in the reader's mind, making us consider whether there are more fitting ways of showing our devotion to a would-be lover. The poem challenges traditional views of romance and what women seek. Parker subverts the notion that women are delicate and sentimental, easily won over by mushy sentimentality and a trite trinket, amulet, like a rose. The poem challenges stereotypes surrounding romance and femininity. The limousine really would test the depth of her lover's feelings for her. Buying her a limo would be a real sacrifice rather than sending her a single rose, however perfect. Parker's parody includes over-the-top diction, complete with archaic old-fashioned words, floweret, and the contraction of flower, and cliched poetic sensory images, scented dew. Her tone mocks the sappy idea that a mere flower represents anything more than a flower. Subverting the typical love poem further, the speaker does not address the lover directly, but speaks to herself or the reader. The tone is sarcastic, but it is also playful. The hyperbole of her wanting a limo makes the comedic payoff funnier. Parker uses humour to make serious points memorable. Sibilance makes the speaker's language sound smooth and satisfying, while hoodwinking the reader into believing this is a genuine love poem. A single flower he sent me since we met, all tenderly his messenger he chose, deep-hearted, pure, with scented dew still wet. The ABAB rhyme scheme complements its musical quality, which gives the poem simplicity and ensures the comedy and message is not lost. The first line of stanza 2, I knew the language of the floweret, reminds us of the coded language of flowers as perfected in the Victorian and Edwardian periods, when flowers symbolised the sender's thoughts and feelings towards the recipient. In the aftermath of the First World War, Parker seeks to break away from these tired notions and offers a fresh view of courtship rituals. The speaker uses enjambment, run-on lines near the poem's end to sweep the reader towards the final punchline. Parallelism and juxtaposing a perfect rose near the limousine makes the ending funnier and Parker's point forceful. It is reasonable to suppose the speaker is Dorothy Parker herself, especially because the poem uses her trademark dry humour, cynicism and wit to playfully mock old romantic notions. It is reasonable to assume Parker is also taking a swing at gold diggers who enter relationships not from love but for material gain, for riches, fine clothing, a mansion, and yes, limousines. The poem challenges us to consider the speaker's cynical and materialistic attitude to love and courtship. It makes us consider what we want from a relationship, what we seek from the lover, and what we should provide them. The speaker is the passive object in this poem, but why shouldn't she take the initiative in this fledgling relationship with her suitor? Parker's career gained momentum in Roaring '20s America, a period of high spirits and relative economic stability. During this era, Dorothy Parker became an important cultural figure in the literary world of New York City. She was a journalist, film critic, and a founding member of the famous Algonquin Round Table, a group of writers, intellectuals, and actors who lunched together at the Algonquin Hotel. A Perfect Rose offers insights into romance, love, and courtship from a female perspective, and is a perfect companion to Edna St. Vincent Millay's sonnet, I Being a Woman and Distressed. As a parody of romantic poetry, it sits well with Millay's poem and with Shakespeare's sonnet 130, My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting and useful. If so, please hit the like button below. Please also check out our other videos on writing and textual analysis. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, it'd be greatly appreciated if you would. Thank you so much. Until next time, from Carol and me, write well.